My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. We are continuing our study of the resurrection of 1 Corinthians 15, and we are focused at the current time on the parallels between Romans 5 to 8 and 1 Corinthians 15. We are laser focused on what Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15:56, where he said that the resurrection would be when the sting of death would be removed. The sting of death is sin. Thus, when you deal with sin, you've dealt with death. That's catching on, which is great. This is the heart of the matter. Sin is the problem. You know, Leon Morris in his commentary, I believe it's Leon Morris, says, death was never the issue. Sin was the issue. Thank you very much. Now, I've been sharing with you from Romans chapter 8, where Paul says that the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made us free from the law of sin and death. Now, what kind of death does the law of Christ set us free from? You can't say it's physical death, because the most faithful Christian who has ever lived still dies physically. You know, on Facebook, and I've been reading just this morning, person after person after person is denying that Christ died spiritually. Now, by the way, I'm writing a book on the death of Adam and the life of Christ. I must confess, I have been taken back by the denial that Jesus died spiritually. Now, what do I mean by died spiritually, though? Do I mean that Jesus' spirit died? No, that's not the definition of spiritual death. By spiritual death, I mean alienation from the Father. Was Jesus separated from the Father on the cross? In a formal public debate that I had with Mac Deaver, which was held in the caverns in New Mexico some years ago, my opponent, Mac Deaver, said Jesus was never separated from the Father for even one moment. Likewise, John Welch, Church of Christ preacher, denied that Jesus was separated from the Father for even one moment. Well, okay, you and I, as human beings, are subject to the law of sin and death. Right? You sin, you die. If that is spiritual death, that is to say, if you and I are alienated from the Father, when we sin, spiritually alienated, then when Jesus bore our sins on the cross, dying a substitutionary death, was he not alienated from the Father? After all, if he suffered the death in our place, and if the death that we were to experience as a result of our sin was alienation from the Father, i.e. spiritual death, then to deny that Jesus was alienated from the Father, i.e. died a spiritual death, is to deny that Jesus died in our place. It is to deny the substitutionary death of Christ. It is to say, well, he bore our sins. He died on our behalf, but he did not experience what we would have experienced. We were to experience alienation from the Father because of our sin. He took those sins, died in our place, and yet he didn't experience the alienation. You know, on Facebook after Facebook page, I have been asking this question. And folks, this is right here. This is the heart and core of what Paul is talking about. There is therefore now no condemnation. What's condemnation? It's alienation. It's condemnation It's separation from the Father. It's spiritual death. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ. Those who are outside of Christ experience condemnation, alienation, spiritual death. Now watch this. Here's the question I've been asking on Facebook. I have yet to receive an answer. When Jesus died on the cross, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why did Jesus utter those words if the Father was not forsaking him at that very moment? Was Jesus wrong to believe the Father had forsaken him? Was Jesus wrong to say, why have you forsaken me? Now, if Jesus was serious in his prayer, in his cry, in that incredible moment, if Jesus was wrong, then what do those words mean? And there's so much more related to this. But you see, when Paul talks about the plight of man under sin, and that plight is condemnation, it is alienation, it is separation, it is death. When man experiences that, and when Jesus took our sins to deny that he died that death, that alienation, that separation, to deny that he experienced those things instead of us, is to deny that he died a substitutionary death. And by the way, it is likewise to deny that when we sin, we die spiritually. We are alienated. We are separated. Because you see, the death of Christ and our death are inseparably bound. Look, folks, these issues that we're talking about, when we're talking about the death of Christ, when we are talking the substitutionary death of Christ, when we are talking about Christ taking our sins in his body on the cross, this is serious stuff. And we'll have more on it as we proceed. So we'll see you on the flip side.